Absolutely.
To the live podcast on the necessary podcast.
Big mama, not the little one.
Right. Okay. Hello. Welcome to the Necessary Unnecessary podcast. I'm your host, Nip Swag. This is your host,
Frisco
in the building, and we have some very necessary guests. They went through hell and high water to get them to you. They went through hell and high water to get to us.
For real.
But I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Go ahead.
I was gonna say ladies first.
Ladies first. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, I love that. You already know what it is. It's your girl, Faye, baby, aka Faye Bae, his bae, her bae, your bae, the powerhouse princess of the South, the ghetto goddess. What's up?
You know what? I don't think I can top that.
I was trying to get up, but you want to be a gentleman. I get that, but go ahead.
Hey, what's up? So my name is Jay, aka I'm just talking trash. Anyway, so no, my name is Justin Giles. All platforms, top fund manager, real estate investor, a real estate hedge fund owner. I got a real estate contracting company, real estate consulting firm, author of a few books. I got a real estate brokerage firm, real estate lending company. Even got into new construction, real estate development, all things real estate. But anyway, boy, holla, Justin Giles, let's get it.
What kind of tagline is it?
That was a good follow-up, Justin. So, look,
Justin!
this is episode 90. And when I looked at our guest roster for the day, I said, oh, we finna call this Boss Moves. Because we got a lot of bosses, we got a lot of moving, and we got a lot of bosses moving. So, that's what we finna do today.
You did this.
Okay.
I'm with it.
I'm here.
We
We ready? What we doing? Let's talk.
Faye, go ahead, baby.
What I gotta talk about? My boss moves?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me flex my... Can I cuss?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me pop my shit.
She encourages it. I say, hey, if you got to, do it.
I wear a lot of hats. I'm multi-hyphenated, multifaceted. I am an actress, artist, host, director, producer. I am the founder of Skit Sounded Soul and Dating in Atlanta, coming soon to Hip Hop Network TV and multi-platforms. You can see me in several movies, over 30 film credits out. I'm very excited about that and happy to be in the writer's seat. I also, on the side, do real estate and Airbnb, and I cook, I clean. Look, I cook, I clean, I fuck, I shut up.
Right. Okay. I love that. That's a boss move right there, lady. 3 boss moves.
Right, that's right, girl. I love it. Giles, you want to give us your little smidgen breakdown of boss moves, and we'll dive into each one.
All right, so pretty much everything in real estate, but one of the things that I guess I'll talk about what I'm most passionate about is really helping other people win. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, they can do well for themselves, but people always want to figure out, well, what can you do for me? What have you done for other people? Mm-hmm. And what I didn't bring up actually is I have a non-for-profit too on teaching kids for free that are teenagers on how to invest in real estate so that they can level up. Because there's a lot of people out there, when I say people of all ages, that truly need to learn how to be able to take care of themselves regardless of not having to depend on other people for it. So I would say that my goal is to help other people make boss moves through real estate.
That's a good point, Justin. So that was one of my things. Like, okay, everybody, I see all these people on TV, Dr. Byron, Tyron, and all these people, the Wall Street Trapper, you too can be a boss, but I would say different people are gifted in different areas, because that's like a chef will tell you, oh, it's easy to cook. All you got to do is go in there and do boop, 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 boop. And the barber will tell you, oh, it's easy to cut hair. All you got to do is go in there and boop, 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 boop. And a rapper will tell you, oh, it's easy to rap. All you got to do is go in there and boop, 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 boop. But if you're not gifted or talented, or if you're not passionate in those areas, and you go and you try those things and you wonder why these boss moves ain't working for me, it sounded so easy. What you have to say to those people? I
have to agree with you on that. I think social media, and Faye, baby, you could chime in on this. I think that one of the biggest problems that society has is social media. Because when you go on social media, everybody thinks that stuff is easy. They think that being a millionaire is easy. They think that, oh, anybody can just go out here and go buy a Lambo. And then, we say we can curse, so I'll try to calm. But the thing is that it's extremely hard to make a fucking $1 million.
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
And you got these young folks out here thinking that, oh well, yeah, and they're dropping out of school. College, as far as entry level rates are at all-time lows. You have so many kids under the age of 21 that want to be influencers, and you have these people that promote these lifestyles on social media that truly can't afford it, that are standing in front of cars that aren't theirs, and they're basically portraying, hey, you can be like me, buy my course, and these are the same folks that I'm evicting from my houses.
Right.
So the thing is that I think it's up to us.
I'm evicting out of my house is crazy.
No,
Because there's a lot of people making boss moves off telling people they can make boss moves and they not even making boss moves.
So the thing is that they truly have to go do their research on these people and really figure out, are they actually doing boss moves? But anyway, back to the question. It's just that we as a people have to truly educate our youth to make sure they understand that you have to put out, you really have to work hard. You have to also work smart and have the right network of people around you to be successful, because you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
I see two groups of youths. I see the bippers and I see the excellers. You know what I mean? So people always want to talk to the bippers. You know what I mean? These kids, they breaking your windows, they climbing in your car, they stealing your stuff. You know what I mean? Those are the bippers, and it's a lot of that in this generation after us. And I do see a lot of kids graduating. But this the year of the most graduates ever in history or something like that. But it's kind of it's equally divided, and where our country is headed, it's like it's finna be more separate from the haves and haves not. So you say, oh, we need to tell our kids this. Yeah, some kids are gonna be like, oh yeah, they're gonna pick that up like a fish, and then some kids be like, oh, I could just bip this car and see how much they got in there.
That's what a bipper is. Okay.
Oh, that's a better word.
Hey, I was trying to read his context. I kind of picked it up.
Yeah,
It's a little device that breaks a car window without shattering it, and you break into cars.
I had one of those for my keychain, this little thing.
Yeah,
bipping is
very,
basically-
very
Why
popular.
do you have one of your keychains?
It was just, when I
In case you lock your keys, it was designed in case you lock your keys in the car. But some smart person or evil genius.
Wait, no, I'm talking about like a window breaker.
Yeah, that's what it
That's
is.
what it is.
Oh, they
Just
use
come out
that
and go like that,
magnificently in the Bay Area to break into every car along the
So
block.
that's why they call it bipping when they break it.
Yeah,
They
it's
take
called
the car,
bipping.
basically, break into it.
Top, that's a new term.
I was like,
It ain't
I'm
that
not gonna
new.
ask. I'm not
No,
sure.
for them it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they don't be in the bag. So,
I think. Oh, okay.
no, go ahead.
No, I think what I wanted to add to what he said. Well, I think the question is like, how are they failing, trying to look like the haves and they have not? They're failing because they're working or operating in someone else's why, not theirs. I believe like when you don't know what it is your purpose to do, then you're imposter. You have imposter syndrome. And so you're just like posing in these other professions, which is cool as long as you're being a student and learning things that you can transfer to that thing that you are good at. But until you get to the point that you realize what the hell I was created for, you're never gonna really put in the effort to make the million or to make the first 100,000 in the thing that you would do without any money at all, because you haven't discovered what it is that you really, really want to do. When I discovered, I got an MBA. I walked away from corporate America in an executive level position. I even walked away from, in my own consultancy firm, in doing corporate contracts, because I just don't like corporate America. Like I don't like it. Like I took all of that corporate stuff, and it was bottling my fashion. It was bottling my hair. I just wanted to be nappy and scruffy and multifaceted. And it was just not. I wasn't able to do that. I had to pose and keep posing, and I developed good skill sets. I took things from it to apply my own kind of constructs. but it was in the industry that I love now. I mean, I remember my ex-husband at the time said, well, go do acting. That's what you want to do. I tried as a childhood thespian. Well, go do that. That's what you want to do. And I'm like, okay. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was the hustle. So
But that was my
it,
original question. It's like, okay, if that's not what you want to do, you will look to people that are successful and be like, oh, I could be successful doing that. But if you don't actually do that or have a passion to do that, you don't even want to do that. You just see this person being successful at that, so I'm gonna try that too, and then you mad when it don't work out for you. But that's how that person got successful. I use people for motivation, not necessarily that I want to do what they do, but I want to be successful at what I do that. Yeah. But a lot of people are trying to mimic other people's boss moves.
Yep. Emulation,
you know what I mean?
idolatry.
And that boss move worked for Justin. That boss move worked for that boss move worked for Faith.
Right.
But that's not your boss move. You know what I mean?
Right.
So take that motivation, take that drive, take that direction, but don't go trying to steal this person's blueprint. But people are selling a blueprint like, yeah, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? And people are failing miserably, but they got paid from it because that was their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is about blueprints, it's funny you bring that up. So you can give somebody a blueprint, but they might not have the connections to actually build the building.
That's what I'm saying.
So the thing is, like, even for me, when I'm teaching somebody, I make sure to be like, hey, listen, this probably won't work unless you have this particular connection.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to build a rocket. You can give me the blueprint, but I have no clue on how to go to space. But if I got the right people around me, and that's the thing, is that you gotta make sure you have the right people around you.
Get one of them
Thank
lemonades.
you.
Yes, sir. Master boss.
I was talking to
I know, but she didn't know what she was
I
talking
know,
about.
right?
Cause
Shout
I'm
out to
not
Fresh
into,
Blend.
yeah, shout out
We take
to
care of our
Fresh
people
Blend.
around here. You know
Doing
what
the
I'm saying?
commercial, you know what I mean?
Commercial break.
Auntie Juicy came through with the catering. What's the catering business name?
Fresh
Auntie Juicy?
Blends.
Fresh Blends LLC.
For the catering business too?
Yes.
I thought that was the drinks. Okay. Fresh Blends, everything all the way around. I'm finna
So
get
good.
into this
actually good.
lemonade, you feel me?
Giles is missing
You
out,
said
child.
blueberry,
Punch.
jungle punch, blueberry, pineapple,
Orange, lemonade.
big old,
It's actually good.
for sure. We had some last time, but we didn't shout it out. So
I am feeling kind of left out by not even trying.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you gotta try
You're
it
like,
for me.
kind of like a hater. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
no.
I was
Hey,
actually
never that.
thirsty,
I can
so
see that.
Never that.
that was our commercial break for our sponsor that came through and catered.
Boycott it.
Appreciate
It was pretty
Continue.
good.
Oh shoot, I don't remember what I was talking about.
Oh, all right. You have a question, fam?
I do have a question.
Okay,
To make your power moves, what would you say was one of the things you had to sacrifice?
Ooh. I would say for me, like I said, just transitioning from consultancy in corporate America, it was like the reputation and prestige, the kind of the appearance of even like falling off. Like, oh, she's not in this firm anymore. She must have tanked or something like that. And then like I came out and I came into myself in a very sexy way. So it was a lot of judgment and criticism. Like, is she all right? You know what I mean? As soon as you get tattoos or get your titties done or something like that, everybody got something to say. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like she must finna start selling OnlyFans or some, some coochie somewhere. And I'm like, no, they're the freest I've ever been.
Absolutely.
So, and then probably some of that would be like just a little bit of momentum, because whether or not you'd like to admit it, starting in a new industry kind of starts you at the bottom of that food chain. And you have to work yourself all the way back up. So, if that would probably be the biggest takeaway, and then the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with being on this side of the fence. Starting from starting from the ground up. And for me, it was a new city, a new industry, as far as the city was concerned. So a whole new network. Came here probably with like 500 followers, and then boom, boom, boom.
Love it.
So it's been cool. It's been cool. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but it has been a growth spurt for me.
None of us are where we want to be, are we?
That's the biggest sacrifice.
I just say, time.
Mm-hmm.
For me in my business, there was a lot of things, because even when I started out at 21, I'm 41 now, so I've been in the business 20 years.
See?
Is I had to figure out how to make money in a week, or I had to figure out how to make money in 2 days. Because just like how you said, you quit corporate America. I quit corporate America too. I worked in corporate America for
2 days.
4 months.
I was just saying.
Yeah, 4 months. Yeah. So a little background about me. I came out of Cornell University. I majored in economics, and I graduated early, top of my class. And I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I had to make some money. Mm-hmm. But I worked in corporate America for 4 months, quit, and then I started doing real estate. But the market crashed, so my credit score was 400. Because I had a foreclosure, a short sale, like I was going through it. So I had to sacrifice time and trying to figure out how to make money out of air. Like, how do I make, and this was before social media.
Make money.
Yeah, I had to figure out how to make money out of air. Sure. Like, and it was either go back to corporate or figure it out. So I was in this corner and I was like, damn, okay, how do I make $600 in a day? And people on social media be like, man, let me show you how to make $1 million in a month. Gosh. I gotta make $600 in a day so I can take care of this car note. Mm-hmm. Or how I gotta make $1,000 by Friday. Mm-hmm. And that's when I had to sacrifice time by figuring out sales calls, figuring out how to call people and talk to people and getting hung up on. And I'm selling stuff for myself. But it ended up working out. And now I actually show people that are in those same situations how to do it. But the problem is, people don't want to do what's hard. They want to do what's easy and quick and fast.
Get quick schemes.
And the thing is that for me, because I've been in the game 20 years, I know how to make an extremely large amount of money in a week, right? So then I'll say to people, hey, I got this course. I'm gonna show you guys how to make 10 grand a week. Mm. But I know how to do it because I've been doing it for 20 years. And to me, 10 grand a week is if you're really not actually, I mean, it's not that hard, and I hate to say that. For me, it's not that hard because I have the resources, the connections, and the people to help me do it. So now what I do is I extend, and this is what's important, is that, you know, social media glorifies starting from the bottom. If you look at most people's stories, everybody typically starts out with, especially black people, yeah, I got out the mud. You know, I started at this particular level. But really, you benefit by starting on top of somebody's shoulders. So how I do it is I help people actually elevate it by building upon what I've already built on. So then they can use my resources, the blueprint, and then make that 10 grand in a week.
I had a marketing firm, and I used to tell my clients, it takes somebody rich to make you rich. It takes somebody famous to make you famous. You don't just become rich. You don't just become famous. Absolutely. They don't necessarily just snap their fingers like this, but they could give you the blueprint. They could put you on. They could, you know what I mean? You start being with this person. You start learning from this person. And then if that's what you want to do and that's your field, then you can do that from somebody who's already done it.
Yeah, that's the intention. That's really, I mean, all of that. The lack of it is just our racial trauma. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We don't have. I don't know if your mom gave it to you. My mom definitely did. My mom died as a little girl. That's flying face, baby. So you know, they don't leave an inheritance. They don't leave blueprints. So I guess we get that from street creds. But it's always intended to be like that. I'm sure you're gonna make sure your kids have a head start. My kids are gonna be so established by the time they hit 18 and 20 is not even gonna be funny, Mm-hmm. So starting on someone's shoulders is how it's always supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. That's what I used to ask my clients. I said, who's the biggest person you have access to right now? You know, who's the most successful person you have access to right now? Mm-hmm. Because your network determines your net worth. You know, who's the biggest person you have access to right now and what you want to do? That's where you need to go to. How much access do you have to this person? What can you do with this person? What can you gain from this person? Mm-hmm. What can you provide this person? Because you don't just go over there with your hand out saying, do this for me. You know what I mean? This is what I used to tell my clients. Like, these is the moves. You know what I mean? Because I've been shaking the bacon a long time.
And sometimes your value is, your labor. I'm willing to work.
Right. That's always been sweat equity.
Yeah.
Sweat equity is what they call it.
That's real.
Yeah. That's the biggest boss move you can if you're trying to get there and you don't have the resources to just snap yourself there, you got to grind for it.
Yeah, facts.
What was your question?
Well, I was going to ask, If you could tell your 18-year-old self one thing and your 88-year-old self one thing, what would that be?
Should have emailed these questions.
Yeah,
That's good for you. That's good.
I said
Yeah.
we finna talk about
Hold
Parkman.
on, let me think fast. You first.
Okay, you want to take this? All right, 18. So my 18-year-old self, I would say, don't chase women. It takes up a lot of time. Like a lot of guys, especially when I was 18, I was girl crazy. I mean, I think most young men are. And you end up wasting a lot of time, trying to date a bunch of different women and juggle a bunch of different women. And you really can build and become more successful if you kind of focus and just, do what you need to do. But at the same time, keep in mind, I graduated top of my class, Ivy League, early, trying to get the fuck out of school. So I was really probably already pretty there, but I would say probably my 20-something-year-old self out of college. But so then I could be like, okay, now that you're out of college, you need to chill out.
Right.
But but either way, I would say focus on your business and everything else, and then everything else follows. But in regards to my 88-year-old self, I would say, I would tell my 88-year-old self, like, my 88. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hold on.
So, me tell my 88-year-old self, I'd be like, well, I pray I'm walking and healthy. Stay going to the doctor and live life. The little that you have left, I don't know. I don't know, that's tough. I don't know what type of advice I give my 88-year-old
The
self.
little you got left.
Stay in shape. Go
You
to
ready?
the gym.
Or are we going to this fast?
No.
Yeah, you gonna answer this question too.
You made it start going.
Oh, shit. I don't know what the
Is it with the squeeze?
My 18-year-old self, I would say similarly to my guy here, that you just it's not enough time to play. It's really we gotta, and it's not even like just college. There should be. I was telling somebody earlier that if I had the opportunity to have wasted or used that time at my folks' house and stuff to explore new ventures where I didn't have to worry about like my own survival, I could have taken a lot more risk. I could have gotten, real estate is one of those things you really need to be able to break into somebody, break while you're on somebody else's dime, those calls and those leads, whatever. So like I would have done college and my hustles at the same time. I don't think I would take back college. Roll Tide, Go Blazers. I don't think I would take it back. I think I would I would have probably juggled a lot more so that I could have been a lot further ahead. Because, from the South, Alabama, it was just graduate, good grades, get a good job. And that was it. And then when I got the good job and bought my first house at 22, it's just like, now what? I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Got a new build, it's cool. This it? I'm gonna do this until 65?
And that's what they instill in us. Oh,
That's what
go
they
to
instill,
school,
go to school,
buy
get
a
a
house,
job,
get
get a
married.
job,
This,
get
that, it's really.
I came out of school.
You know what I mean?
$300,000, whatever, however many
You do all that
thousand
stuff
debt.
and then you be like, okay, now what?
I had a bunch of debt, so I had to keep
Yeah.
working. So that's where I would have tried to figure out how to get off of the mouse wheel a lot sooner. That wasn't smart. That was conditioning. 88-year-old, so I would say, girl, keep giving them hell, bitch.
Yes.
You gave them hell out through your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're gonna make them sick to your 100. That's a fact. But you lived a good life, and you impacted a lot of people, and you're full of love and surrounded by love because you loved all the way through.
Yeah, that's a good answer for the 88. Both of them. I do have something to add about with my 18-year-old self.
What you want to add?
I would tell myself to not sell my properties. Because there's some properties I'm like, dang, if I would have kept that house, a little bit more of this. Like when the market crashed and I got back in the game at 22, 23, I was buying a house for $7 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand. And those houses are worth 400, 350. I'm like,
Dang it.
But either way, I needed the money when I sold them.
Yeah.
But I would have came up with another plan to pay the bills versus selling them.
If you had known, huh?
If I would have known. Which I probably would have known, but it's just, if I did know, but I need the money. But I'd have to do something else. But don't sell it, just go do something else.
Do something else.
Damn,
That's
18. Fuck. I was fucking awesome all the way through, baby. That's why I'm like,
was what?
shit. I've been awesome.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I
I thought you.
don't fucking know. 18, I would say. I feel like I should have went to college right after high school. I went and worked because I liked clothes so much and I wanted to be fresh as hell because in high school, my parents bought all my stuff. I worked at Burger King, but you know, you can only afford to buy so much. So when I got out of high school, I started just working. Then I went to City College when I was about 20, you know what I mean? Like 19. So I feel like if I would have went straight to like a university when I graduated high school, things would have happened a little differently. Not saying I regret what happened now because I love my life and I love all the journeys because I've taken a lot of journeys. But that would be it. 88, bitch, keep getting tatted, bitch. Keep on fucking. Tatted and fucking. You might be wrinkled, but I sure won't be. That's what I'm saying. At 88, bitch, if it still work, keep on fucking and keep getting them tattoos until you fucking die. Straight up.
I would tell my 18-year-old self, buckle up. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. And I would tell my 88-year-old self, you still here? What are we doing?
I cannot.
See how guys are 88, we're still here.
Yes.
Yes, we're still fucking here.
Our life expectancy is 80s and 90s now. That's why it's so
I would like to be 95, but I don't need to be 102.
But you know why dudes be tapping out early? Because we gotta take care of y'all. So
shit! Now hold on.
We be out here slaying dragons and stepping in front of bullets. And, we be over here. See, that's why. Hey, look. Now in my business, we be out here dealing with properties, knocking out, breathing in all types of stuff.
Oh my
You
God.
know, for people that actually really follow me, I get dirty. I be dealing with some crazy stuff. So yes,
Little something.
yes.
Which is good. You get your hands dirty. I don't mean you need to die or something.
Right.
No, we don't want to, but at the same time, I'm just saying is that men typically put ourselves more in harm's way than women.
And women have to deal with y'all shit, so we're stressed
That's
out,
why y'all live
tired.
longer.
Have to deal with women
Because
have to
we're
deal
in
with
more
children.
harm's way. We're in harm's way more often.
Nah.
But I'm gonna let y'all have it.
Right.
Because we understand as well. You gotta let the women have it as well. So yeah.
Y'all don't have to push out now, baby. Do you know how many megahertz of electricity we compare to in labor?
Oh, I agree 100%. All I'm saying is that because you guys
That's
do all
about
these
95
things,
roofs that you
men put themselves in harm's way. Like if you think about it,
We
most of
almost
these
died
people,
during labor.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%. You preach to the choir. All I'm saying is that regardless if women have kids or if they don't have kids, men are still putting themselves in harm's way or doing different things.
Not all men.
But a lot of men are. You can tap in to impress or get women.
I'm gonna take an intermission right here just to address our people
100%.
and tell us to stop subscribing to the Willie Lynch syndrome, where we pit men against women and age against age and light skin against dark skinned, and
That's
it's too much competition.
That's always
Everybody ain't doing that. We doing that. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
We doing that. Let's not do that. We need to. What did Roosevelt say? No, it wasn't Roosevelt. It was Hoover. That was the FBI dude.
One of the worst ones you
J.
talk
Edgar
about.
Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to national security is black unity. Black unity.
You a history book.
No, he's just being dramatic.
Nah, I've been stalked by the FBI, so I started stalking them.
He's just being Mr. Dramatic. Go ahead.
No, I'm so serious. I'm dead serious. That was an intermission that has,
It's black unity.
Okay.
Man, it's black unity.
I'm
So
black
back.
unity.
Anyway, I got another question.
Okay.
Look at all girl.
So we got bosses over here. Now, you don't have to give it away because I know people don't like to give away like their, let the left hand see what the right hand doing all that shit. But what would you say like would your next big move be your next big boss move? Like you don't have to give it away, but like or what you want your next big boss move to be.
So I don't mind giving it away because like you can't stop it. So the next move for me, because at first when I transitioned into entertainment, producing and film and music and writing and such, it was as talent, and I've kind of switched over to the other side and have just been working my network in a way that I got all these little pillars just waiting for production to be greenlit. And it's just one of those things that once these things drop, it's gonna be back to back to back to back. So some of the content and movies and shows that we've been discussing and working and even starting to shoot is just it's exciting, but it's bittersweet because I'm so used to it. Takes me away from working in collaboration with my agent to be the front, the talent, or to try to get into a Tyler Perry film or something like that. To get to be co-star with Taraji P or something like that. It takes me away from that part of the hustle because you got to do like 100 auditions, and I don't have time for that. I'm too busy, trying to figure out what's the next party I'm going to invest in to keep my brand's name in the forefront, and my name as a host, and I'm too busy worried about the next venue or the next celebrity I'm going to book or something like that. I'm excited about what it looks like to be a producer, and once these things are able to be consumed, you'll just be able to see me as a producer director, no longer an actor.
So you got some movies coming out, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Behind the scenes,
All
that's
right.
where the real
That's
boss
what it is,
moves.
yeah.
That's what I said.
Behind the scenes for sure.
Behind the scenes, it's not as glamorous, but it's fun.
No, it is, 'cause that's what I
Yeah.
like to do. I like to do behind the scenes for real.
I hate it.
Obviously. My outfit is so
Well, the thing is though, but you even me just meeting you, I can tell that you're gonna go far with that because she has that demeanor, don't she? Like you can kind of tell that she just on her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
I already
why I
know.
like her.
That's gonna be fire. I already know.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Next boss move, next potential, next desired boss move, next move. Next move, boss.
So
Okay.
I'm working on this permit for a piece of land that I have that's not too far from the airport. That I'm gonna build like an apartment complex, but it's like a mixed-use apartment complex on. So hopefully maybe 150 units or so. Good Lord willing. Well, I'm gonna get it approved, but I just gotta get the money. So I'll get the money.
Put the money in the bag. I was gonna call this episode to put the money in the bag episode, but
Of course you would.
So I actually got emailed today. I gotta just pay the city for some stuff, but outside that, hopefully I get that permit within maybe the next couple months or so I can go ahead and start getting that project off the ground. But I want to say it's a 150 unit mixed use apartment complex. But yeah, so it'll be dope, and that'll be another project that's not as grand of a scale. But it's funny, it's actually that other property is a piece of land my mom owned for years. So I'm trying to get a mixed use building on that too.
What does mixed use mean?
Mixed use is like Atlantic Station, like
Yeah.
any type of place to
Retail
where you're
and-
retail, like live, work, play.
Yeah.
So all these big buildings you see where you see the kava under it and the people are living there, and then you got the little movie theater. This isn't gonna be a movie theater there because I don't have the space for it, but just doing more of those complexes. That's that.
Yeah,
And
that's dope.
but that's gonna be I think next step because I buy a lot of single family properties, but I want to start getting to large scale commercial development.
I just want a 4-piece. Let me just.
Oh, hey, put your bid.
I don't want to manage 4. I don't want to.
Listen, hey,
like there
you
was
can
someone earlier,
put your whole hey, we could build something where you could put your whole what's that thing that's right off 285 assembly, and then you have Todd Perry studio. You have your own studio. We go find some land, and then you can build your own studio there. So
You not playing, you better.
Yeah, proof of concept. Yeah, 100%.
Look at the necessary, unnecessary podcast.
Ah.
Such necessary people to, you feel me?
Yeah.
To know, network.
Hey, we all look out for each other.
Yeah.
Like, I just want a 4-piece. I don't need no 150.
She's
I'm the
like,
one who manages to,
So this is the time where we give our necessaries and unnecessaries about boss moves.
So what's the question? Necessary?
What is your necessary and unnecessary about boss moves?
I'm trying to understand the question. So what's necessary to
What's
be
necessary about boss moves?
And what's
unnecessary about boss moves?
like, think about, like,
No, like I get it now, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so
We're on
think
the
about-
necessary, unnecessary podcast, man.
I got you.
You gotta know we're gonna
so,
ask you this.
Alright, you want to take that one?
Now you got it.
So it's necessary to have capable, smart people to, of course, help you accomplish what you need to accomplish. It's unnecessary to have just good-looking people around just because they're good-looking. They aren't
absolutely.
contributing, but you just
Useless.
have them around just because they look nice.
Yep.
You know who I'm talking to.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh
Slide in the
no!
DM.
Specific.
Like, were you subtweeting me on the show?
Specific.
I dare you to call
He
him
or
out.
she is
I
unnecessary.
cannot.
I dare you to
as
call
you
him out.
know.
I dare. I'm joking. It is. Good. This is good. A good question. I would say it's very necessary to make the move. Press the button. Press the goddamn button. Do it. Jump.
Absolutely.
You sit there reading all goddamn day. You can study all damn day. You can call. You can consult it 15 times. Like it's very necessary to make the move. It's very necessary to make the jump. It's very unnecessary to do it for clout. Yeah, it doesn't. It's I don't like half the things that I've done. I don't even broadcast because I just don't need the opinions. I
Right.
don't need the attention. You know,
Right.
I'd rather give you a twerk video.
She's got them. I've seen them.
I'd rather
They're pretty good. If
so you
you
can
hear me.
focus on some shit you don't want to, because when you put it, people like prey on your
downfalls.
on your downfalls. They prey on
Absolutely.
your visions. They prey.
Absolutely.
They if you give them
And
too
your
much,
happiness, too.
yeah. They try to find things to curse or to blaspheme. You know, let me just keep you busy thinking I'm dumb.
Right.
Do that. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's necessary to actually be a boss. Everybody that portrays and professes to be a boss is not really a boss.
Or
you
never
know what
has
I mean?
been, or doesn't know
So,
how, or won't
Yeah,
know
that's
how.
true.
And be the boss of you. You know what I mean? Be the boss
That's
of
the
you.
biggest one.
You know, be the
Ooh.
boss of you. I don't care if you work for somebody. I don't care what you're doing. You know what I mean? Just be your own boss. You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, but be your own boss. And I would say my unnecessary would be you don't have to tell your moves.
That's a
Boss.
fact.
You know what I mean? You don't have to tell your
That's a
moves.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to this guy.
Oh, wow. Mine's gonna be the most simple, straight to the point. Necessary, be kind to people. Genuine, honest, keep it real, because then people really fuck with you in the long term. Unnecessary about boss moves, when you just be lying fake. Like lying and being fake, realistically. Because then when people, y'all know who you are, you find out that y'all been lying about being the boss, then we look at you like, damn, this fake motherfucker, I can't even do business with you anymore. So, you know what I mean? So you lose that connection right there. So,
You'd be
easy,
surprised how many
keep it
people do
100. That's it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, all right. Close us out.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much to you guys. No, seriously, because it was some difficulties, but we made it happen, and they were very
boss moves
patient.
to make this
Right,
move.
right. So did. Had to pull some strings.
Shake and
because
bake.
These two are very hard to get, and we're happy that you took the time out your day, to come down here. Tell the people where they can find you, your socials, all that.
Well, you can find me everywhere. Well, thank you guys for having me, for the invitation, for the platform. You guys make sure you stay tapped in with the very necessary and unnecessary podcast. And you can find me everywhere at PHABABY. That's PHABABY. Make sure you tap in with your girl.
And just like she said, it's an honor to be here anyway. I mean, you two are awesome people. So come on, man, we had to come on the show. Like with these two, come on now, we gotta come on. But
you got to do it in Atlanta dialect.
yes, for sure.
Do you know?
Talk
Do you have an
about
Atlanta dialect?
You know what? I just
Try it.
I have a.
This gonna be interesting.
You know what? Y'all funny.
He does not. He don't have
You know
no
what?
Atlanta dialect.
So what's
That's
funny
his
about
dialect.
that, right? So it's funny about that. People ask me like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, I'm from Atlanta. It's like, really?
He is.
I was
He
like,
is.
so how do black people from Atlanta supposed to talk? They're like, man, damn, Sean, shit, man, hell, man, fuck me one time, cuz, man, fuck with it though, man, fuck with it, look, man. So
Oh
I
my
fuck my
God.
homeboy right here, Sean. You know what I'm saying?
You know how to do it.
Sean.
You know how to, that's
I'm
exactly.
kidding. But yeah,
But
yeah.
I ain't from here.
Man, fuck me one time though, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out.
I'm hollering.
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's stop.
I'm dying over here. It's so.
Yeah.
It works. Kind
Where can
of.
we find you?
It did
So,
work, but it
yes.
didn't work.
Yeah, because I just.
No, it was
It
it.
worked.
No, for sure. That was it.
It worked.
You know?
But it didn't work. I didn't believe you, but it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, where's that? She snorted.
Atlanta.
So anyway, Justin Giles, you can find me on all platforms, Top Fund Manager, and all real estate. Holla at me. I got your back. Let's get it. I better tune in.
Fight with your cash.